All right, let everyone in. Hi, everyone. I'm gonna give everyone a minute as everyone is logging on and logging in. There's a lot of us here tonight. Robin or Kat, if you guys will make sure that you're letting people in from the waiting room, that'd be super helpful. We're gonna give it just like a couple more minutes to make sure we get everybody in. And then we will get started. If you would like to, you're welcome to put in the chat your name and what session you're coming. If you remember what cabin you're going to be in, put that in there too. It's always nice to kind of see where people are at. We're expecting a lot of people tonight, so I'm excited to have this chat with you all. All right. I think we're starting to slow down. So, welcome everyone. My name is Emmons. I'm the executive director here at YMCA Camp High Harbor at Lake Burton. We're going to be going through, there's a lot of information tonight. This is the presentation that I used for the new camper orientation a couple weeks ago that we had. And it's just a great high level overview of camp and what to expect this summer. If this is not your first summer coming to camp at High Harbor, a lot of this is going to be repeat stuff for you. We have not made any like grand giant changes to how camp is run. So this will just be a good, great refresher for you all. If you have questions as we go along, please feel free to put them in the chat. We will have time at the very end for lots of other questions. So please feel free to wait until the end. But we do have some folks on here manning the chat for us. But like I said, if you would like to go ahead and put it in the chat, your camper's name, what cabin, what session you're coming. We're excited to see all of you here. So just also, this is going to be recorded and it will be sent out tomorrow afternoon to everyone. So you don't need to remember everything right now. So this is a orientation for everyone. It's just going to do a high level overview of camp and what to expect from camp this summer. And so let's get started. This right here is just a list of all of our sessions this summer, starting from session 1 through session 9. So these are all of the dates. We use the word session or week together. So week 1 or session 1 is June 2nd through June 8th, and so on and so forth. So if you're confused about what session you're in or what dates you're coming, here they are. We run from Sunday to Saturday. So all of our sessions start on a Sunday and they end on a Saturday. Next, these are all of our program options that you can register for. So our Pathfinder program is for campers that are in that 1st and 2nd grade, and then runs through 6th grade. Trailblazers is for campers in 7th or 8th grade. Water sports is for campers in 7th or 8th grade. So is navigators. Then we have what we refer to as our ALA program. ALA stands for Advanced Leadership Academy. These two programs do require an interview for you to participate. But the first level of that is our ALC group, which is a 2-week program. And this is Advanced Leadership Camp. You must be 14 and in at least the 8th grade to be in that program. Our LIT program, or our Leadership and Training, you must be 15 and in the 9th grade to be in that program. And these leadership programs, they go ALC 3 weeks, ALC 2 weeks, LIT 3 weeks, and they lead up into, if you ever want to work at camp or be a staff member here, those are the programs we use for all of our staff. This is bouncing around quite a bit. Hold, please. Okay, perfect. All right, so some pre-camp things that are important for you all to know. Actually, hold, please. I think we missed a slide. Oh, no, we didn't miss a slide. Sorry, y'all. I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing anything. Okay, so pre-camp. So I'm sure you've started to get lots and lots of emails from us, especially if you're coming session 1, that first week of camp, about making sure that all of the forms that we need you to sign are up and ready in your Camp in Touch account. Camp in Touch, Campminder, they're the same thing, but these are all the forms that are required for your camper to come to camp. So we need you to fill out a camper health history. I can't stress enough that you are pretty detailed in your camper health history. Please know the camper health history is only visible by the medical staff and full-time staff at camp. And that allows us that if your camper has anything that we need to know for them to be successful at camp, we want you to put that in their camper health history. This is from anything from like dietary restrictions to any health issues or challenges they may have had over the last year, to mental and things that anxiety, depression, any of those things we want to know about. That will be helpful to us, making sure that your camper is successful as possible when they come to camp. So please be detailed. You might not think that we use that section of Campminder. We use it almost every day. Please be reminded that we do need a physical for this year, updated and signed by your camper's physician. Please know that if you've already gotten a physical for your camper and your insurance will only cover one, most physicians understand the expectations of camp, and so they will they'll go ahead and sign off on this form for you as long as they've seen your child within the last 12 months. And so please make sure there's an updated physical. We also ask for an immunization record. We don't require any immunizations, but it is good for us to know what immunizations your camper does or does not have. In case there's an emergency at camp, we will send this with them to the hospital, and it's good for us to have that on file. So please make sure that's uploaded. The parent authorization form, this is another important form that we require for you to have on file with us. So please make sure it is signed and uploaded. The YMCA participant waiver, you need to make sure that you have that form signed and ready to go. Those are required. Anything that has a star listed on here is required for you to fill out. It's a waiver. It's an additional form that you need to download or fill out online and have that uploaded. Your next one is authorized grown-ups. I cannot stress this enough about authorized grown-ups. When you put authorized grown-ups on your camper's account, I need you to list every single person who may or may not be coming to pick your camper up. This includes any parents. Please put yourself as an authorized pickup. I know it seems silly, but our system does not automatically put parents as authorized grown-ups. And so please put them down as an authorized grown-up. One of the biggest holdups we have is you just never know what's going to happen at the check-in, check-out process, but specifically with checkout, we will not let your camper go with anyone who is not listed as an authorized grown-up. And we check IDs for everyone. And so if they're not listed, we're going to have to call you. And if something happened where you're not available by phone, we will not let your camper go. So please make sure that you have a very thorough list of authorized grown-ups. If your camper is going to take any medication while they're at camp with us, the medication pack-out information is available for you to download and use. Even if they're not on medications now and something happens before they come to camp, please make sure you read that and follow it so that you're ready to go when you drop your camper off. If for some reason that you need to bring special food for your camper, there are instructions on the supplemental food pack out. So please use that if you need to bring any food. And then there are trip-specific waivers. This should also say there are some for LIT. So it's going to be Trailblazers and ALCs and LITs are going to have trip-specific waivers that need to be signed. Please have those signed. Otherwise, we will call you and we will try to get those signed. But if we can't get them signed for your campers will not be allowed to go on the offsite trips. And so please sign those. If you have questions about forms pre-camp, please reach out to us. We are happy to answer any questions and guide you through that process. I do see that there is a question about when LITs get to see what cabins they're in. You do not get to know what cabin you're in as you're an LIT until you arrive to camp. There's like a little special ceremony that they do with you to find out what cabin you're in. And so you'll find that out when you arrive to camp. All right, contact information. So our business office is located at our Lake Allatoona location, which is the 40 Old Sandtown Road. And so all that information is right there. Our main office number is 770-532-2267. But during the summer, when we are operating, we have an office that operates up here, and we have a direct line to Lake Burton. That direct line to Lake Burton is listed right there, and camp's address is also there. And if you ever need anything, you are welcome to reach out to me via email. I do try to keep up with my email, but please know I'm a little bit slow to respond in the summer. So please call our office and leave a message, and I'll be happy to return your call. We do have office staff that are there to answer the phone between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. All right, so arrival and departure. So our arrival time is on Sundays for this, and this is for everyone but LITs. So if you are an LITs, you will get different information on your arrival time, so this does not apply to you. Arrival time for everyone else but LITs is on Sundays between 2 and 4 p.m. Our departure is on the following Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. If you need to pick up early or drop off late, please reach out to us beforehand so that we can arrange that with you. Please know that unless you are in day camp, we do not allow overnight campers to be dropped off or picked up by boat. They must come by car. Day camp is the only program that we allow to have boat drop off and pick up. In regards to checkout, so please know that all sessions conclude on Saturdays at 10 a.m. To officially check out, I can't stress it enough. We need to have authorized grown-ups listed on your camper's account. So do it. Make sure there are authorized grown-ups. We will check photo ID for any camper that is being checked out at camp, and we will not allow any camper to leave camp with someone who is not listed as an authorized grown-up. Also, another thing to note is that you might also, please make sure you put your authorized grown-up's government name, the name that is listed on their ID, because that's what we're going to go off of. And you'd be surprised at how many times you might call someone Bob, but their name is James. So please make sure you put their government name that is listed on their ID on your authorized groups. Please and thank you. All right, so there are times where we will allow campers to stay over, and those are our carryover weekends. So if your camper is staying for more than 1 week, please note that these are the only weekends that we have carryover programming. There are 2 weekends of every summer that we do not have carryover programming. So if you are coming between session 3, if you're coming for 3 and 4, there's no carryover between 3 and 4. So you'd have to come pick your kids up after session 3 ends and drop them back off for session 4. And it's the same between session 6 and session 7, unless you are an ALC. If you are an ALC, we always have carryover for you. Please note if you are staying for carryover weekends that we do provide laundry service, and so we will do your camper's laundry for them. So you don't have to worry about packing multiple weeks worth of clothing. All right, so while your camper is here, they will get an opportunity to go to our camp store. They'll get to go to our camp store multiple times throughout at least once a day. They'll get to go to the camp store, unless you're in Trailblazers. Trailblazers is a little bit different, but they will get to go to the camp store regularly. I recommend for just general camp store, $50 for the week is good. And then if you want them to buy like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, add an additional $40. If you just want them to buy snacks and goodies, $50 is good. Anything additional after 1 week, add $25. You can also track your camp store spending on your Camp in Touch account, your Campanion app, and you can see what they're buying, how much they're spending, and if you need to add more money to their account. So please make sure that you are checking that. And then we will also keep an eye on it to make sure that they don't overspend, and that also that they get opportunities to go to the camp store. Next is cabin groupings. So please note, so our cabin groups remain the same throughout our programs here. And so most of our cabin groups have anywhere, depending on the size of the cabin, have somewhere between 15 to 20 campers with 3 to 4 staff for that cabin, plus our LITs, so our leaders in training. Lodging does vary from group to group, but most of it's pretty general, where it's a bunk room. And then there are bathrooms. Bathrooms are either inside the cabin themselves or attached to the building that the cabin is in. All campers will have their own bunk and storage areas for their comfort. We group all of our kids by grade, and so everyone is within 1 grade of each other. And so as you move up in camp, you move up in cabin. And cabins change week to week based on the number of kids, or based on the grades of kids we have in camp. So if you were here last year and you were in cabin 3, you might be in cabin 2 this year, and that's just because we might have more of a certain age in each cabin. It does not mean that you have moved down. It just means that you will always be in a cabin with campers, at least within 1 grade of your camper. Payments, if you haven't already, all of your payments have been paid in full by this point, May 1st. At this point, we are past the refund section of camp. And so if you do need to cancel camp for any reason, please reach out to us. We do require cancellations in writing. And so you can email those to registration@highharbor.org. All right, this one's a big one. It's important. So if you haven't already, please download the Campanion app. You can use that QR code to download the Campanion app. Campanion is important for a couple of reasons. One, we will upload photos daily to Campanion. We upload anywhere between 400 to 600 photos a day. Please log on, check for the photos. Campanion's got really great facial recognition software, so you won't have to go through every photo. It will bring photos of your camper to you as long as there is a clear picture of your camper uploaded to Campanion. They will find the photos for you. You will get updates from us. We will upload, we will kind of write a little blurb about what's happening at camp every day. Also, if we need to communicate something to you, to the wide audience of camp, we will do that through Campanion and through email. But it's easier if it just comes through Campanion. And then you will want to send your campers emails. You do that through Campanion. So please make sure you have the Campanion app downloaded before you come to camp, and you've uploaded a photo of your camper so that the facial recognition software can do its job. Also, please make sure you take a look at our photo and media philosophy, just to help set your expectations of photos. It's important to know that you will sometimes see photos of your camper and they might not be smiling. It doesn't mean they're having a bad time. It might just mean that we've caught them thinking about something. It might just mean that we've caught them in a moment of transition. We also, sometimes kids don't want their photos taken, and we're not going to force campers to have their photos taken. And so you may not see a lot of photos of your camper, and that doesn't mean we're not trying. We're trying to get photos of everyone every day. But some kids just don't want their photos taken. And so please, if you ever need a check-in, please just call us and we are happy to go and do a check with your campers cabin mates or campers cabin staff so that we can report back to you. But go ahead and check out, make sure you've got Campanion downloaded, Make sure you've got our photo and media philosophy, you've taken a look at it, kind of just help set your standards of what to expect while your camper's here. Another thing, so mail and packages. So first, we are a package-free camp here. We do not allow packages to be sent to campers. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we have a lot of campers that have a lot of allergies, and we try hard to make sure that we are not allowing food into camp that is that's going to trigger an allergy. So if you're sending food with your camper, that's okay. Please make sure it's nut-free. We try to be completely nut-free camp, but please don't send care packages to your campers. We will not deliver them. We will hand them to your camper as they're checking out at camp. And so please do not send packages. Now, if your camper's forgotten something and you need to mail it to them, please let us know that it's coming, and then please address it to me. You address it to me, and then I will get it to your camper. Also, please don't try to sneak in snacks. We will not deliver those. We will only deliver what's important to your camper. So please keep that in mind. But yeah, if they've forgotten something, you can overnight it to us. We also we're happy to go to Walmart and pick stuff up if they need it. But please do not send packages to camp. Spread the word to aunties, uncles, grandma, grandpa. We will not deliver. Also know about mail is that I know that handwritten letters to campers is amazing and wonderful. I'm going to be incredibly honest with you that the mail service here is not great. I cannot promise that if you mail a letter to your kid while they are at camp, that it will make it here while your kid is at camp. And so I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I can't promise that it'll get to your camper. And so please, you have unlimited camp stamps to send them emails. Please send them emails. We deliver them every single day at lunchtime. As long as they are in by 11 a.m., we will print them off and we will get them to them at lunch at 1 o'clock. So please send as many emails as you would like to. But you can send handwritten letters. I just can't promise that they're going to make it here. The mail is very slow. If your camper wants to write handwritten letters home, I love it. My recommendation is that you send pre-addressed and pre-stamped envelopes with your kid to camp, and they just have to write a letter, seal it, and put it in our mailbox to send out, because you might think that your camper knows how to address an envelope, and I can promise you they don't. So please send pre-addressed stamped envelopes, and we send the mail out every single day. Next, calling home. So please, we do not allow cell phones at camp. There's not really cell service here. And so please do not send cell phones with your campers. We are not responsible if they get lost or stolen or broken. We are not responsible for them. And they are just going to be glorified paperweights while they're here. If we find them on campers, we will take them and confiscate them and hold on to them in the camp office. But please just don't bother sending them. We do not allow campers to call home. Please trust us that no news is good news and that we will be in contact with you if we need anything. So if there is any behavior issue or medical or anything that happens, we are going to call you, and we will keep you in the loop. If you need to call and check in on your camper, we're happy to do that, but do not expect your camper to call you. I am not going to read through this, but I want to encourage you to read over our camper code of conduct, and two, read over our behavior philosophy that is in our family handbook. You can find that online. It's here. Please just know that we transitioning into camp there can be challenges as we are bringing new people together into a community, and there's always going to be conflict that we are working through. Please know that when we do staff training, that we are working with our staff on conflict management, and that we are doing everything we can to make sure that we are working with kids individually on their behavior, but also how their behavior impacts the group. And if there is anything that we feel that you need to know about that's like above and beyond just normal typical conflict, please know that we're going to give you a call. Our staff fill out forms every day that gives us an update on each camper, but also any issues or situations that are happening in the cabin. And we will give you and as the family member calls, just to let you know what's going on. Sometimes it's just to let you know that something happened. Sometimes we're going to ask your advice on how to work with your camper. But just know this is our behavior philosophy. It goes for a couple of pages. So just make sure that you read over that in our family handbook, just so you are aware of how we are handling certain behaviors, but also so your camper is aware. And please go over our camper code of conduct. We want everyone to be able to transition into the camp community as easy as possible, but for some people, it's just going to take a little bit more than others. And so please keep that in mind. All right, other behaviors. Homesickness. Homesickness is completely normal. And so it's a completely natural part of camp. And it can happen on both ends. So please know that homesickness can happen for your camper coming to camp, but homesickness can happen on the other end for parents sending their kids to camp. And so some things that I can tell you is that we will work with your campers on homesickness as long as it is still comfortable for them to be at camp and is still a positive environment for them. If homesickness ever gets to the point where it is no longer beneficial for them to be at camp, like it's doing more harm than it is good, we are going to call you. We will have already talked to you by this point, but we're going to have some conversation of around whether or not it is good for your camper to still be at camp and in this environment. But it's good to start talking about homesickness now and start preparing for homesickness, right? So it can include mild anxiety, sadness, crying, just general stress. Some recommendations I have for you, besides talking about it openly and what it's like to miss home, is to prepare what things you're going to send to camp with your camper, right? So pictures of home. We love pictures of pets to hang on their beds, pictures of important people that they may miss while they're here, some comfort things to bring. Now, if you have a camper that has like the most precious stuffed animal in the entire world, that they will be the most devastated if they lose, I don't know that I would send that to camp. Maybe pick second most valuable stuffed animal, because things can get lost here, and we don't want that to happen. But start talking about it now. Start planning for it now. Even the most like confident, well-adjusted camper can experience a little bit of homesickness, especially it usually hits at nighttime. We keep them really, really busy throughout the day. And so when they get back to their cabin and they settle in for the night, it's that realization of, oh, I'm not getting tucked in, or I'm not getting a story read to me, or there are just some certain things. So start talking about it now. Also, grownups, also important for you to talk about how you might be feeling a little bit of anxiety to have your camper go to camp, and how that's okay, and that you're excited for them to have so much fun, and that you guys can do things, and that hard things and you can't wait to hear about the really amazing experiences that they're going to have while they're at camp. Please note that homesickness does not just happen with overnight campers. It can also happen with really younger day campers. If this is the first time camp experience for anyone, being away from home or being away from people that they know and they've grown up with can be hard for anyone. So start talking about it now. Also, in line with homesickness is mental health. So our goal is to make the adjustment to the camp life a smooth transition for everyone. Again, this is for overnight, day camp, anyone. We understand that it'll take time for campers to settle into that routine. And so communication is that it's consistent to creating a positive experience. So we're going to talk a lot about with your camper about what they're doing during their day, what to expect. It's also important for you to talk about. They're going to experience new things. Their routine's going to be different. They're going to meet new people. They're going to have new friends. Start talking about it now. Please, again, use the camper health form to best communicate to us how we can support your camper. That is for day and overnight camp. Please put all of that into the camper health form. If you have any specific concerns about your camper and their transition to camp, please reach out to us directly, especially if there's something that's happened in the last year that you think that we need to know about and talk through. I'm happy to have those conversations, so please give us a call, and we are happy to talk through what that looks like at camp. If you have a camper that is going through therapies, anything like that, please know that that doesn't have to stop just because they're coming to camp. We have situations and areas where campers can continue to go to therapy and meet with their therapists while they are at camp. You just have to let us know and we'll get that set up for them. Medical. So we have on-site 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. While there are campers here, we either have our infirmary is fully staffed with EMTs, nurses, paramedics, staff members that are holding advanced first aid certifications. We are ready in case of an emergency. All of our cabin and program staff are certified in CPR, AED, bloodborne pathogens, child abuse and maltreatment identification, first aid, and lifeguarding. And this is just to help detect and intervene with any medical emergencies. Please note that parents or guardians we will be notified of any conditions that are requiring recovery or observation in the infirmary for longer than 3 hours. It's important to know that we do not infirm campers, nor do we take campers to the doctor. So if your camper comes down with any form of an illness that requires them to be infirmed for longer than 3 hours, sometimes 3 hours is all they need, they just need air conditioning and a nap and some Gatorade, then great, they'll go back to programming and they're fantastic. But we're going to let you know if your camper comes into the infirmary and needs to rest, because we're going to let you know that you might need to prepare to come pick them up. If your camper is running a fever, we'll give you a call. But if that fever does not break with Tylenol and rest, then we're going to ask you to come pick your camper up to go to the doctor and to be fever free for a minimum of 24 hours before they can return to camp. So please note, we do not infirm campers. We also do not take campers to the doctor. That will be your responsibility as grown-ups of these lovely children. And so please make sure you're prepared for that. If you are a family that is planning to go on a trip while your kid is at camp, especially if you're going to leave the country, please make sure there are people that are prepared to come and pick your camper up if they need to go to the doctor. This is something that we deal with every year, and so please make those plans now. We will, obviously, if something happens at night, we're not going to ask you to come in the middle of the night to come get your camper. We'll make plans for the next morning, but just know that we do not infirm campers. So please make plans that if your camper will ever need to get picked up from camp, we do not infirm them. If a camper is leaving camp with us, and it's a true emergency, we're calling 911 and they're leaving in an ambulance. So anything that's just like illness or general needs to go get checked out by a doctor, we're going to ask that you transport them. But if it's a true emergency, they're leaving in an ambulance, and we will call you on our way to the hospital. All right, next, so please note we can disperse all forms of medication. We have almost every type of over-the-counter medication on site, so you do not need to send those with your camper. But if they take a specific, melatonin, allergy med, things that they take regularly, please use the medication pack out to send that with them to camp. If they're on any prescription medication, please, we require the original labeled container and we need to match the instructions. So please send those with your child to camp. You will sit down and meet with the medical team to talk about medications at check-in. So please make sure that you have everything that you need. We require that you give us all the specific instructions for medication usage and required equipment. So please make sure you have everything your camper needs. If there's a change in the medical history or the dosage or whatever between when you filled out the medical form to when your camper is coming to camp, please make sure that you have updated all those forms because those things need to match. There's a list of the over-the-counter medications we use at the bottom. As long as the form is filled out online that says that we can dispense over-the-counter medications to your camper, we will do that. And we will make note of it. If it's marked that we can't give your camper over-the-counter medications, we're going to call you. And we're going to ask for just support in that area, especially if your camper is coming into the infirmary complaining of a cough or a headache or any of those things that are pretty normal and typical for our campers here at camp. Community health. Okay, so camp, we are taking a lot of people from different places and we are putting them into a confined space. So communicable diseases can spread really, really easily here. And that's things from head lice to the common cold to COVID to impetigo to any of those things. They can spread quickly here. So my very first request is please, about 7 to 14 days before your camper is coming to camp, just keep an eye on them. Please do not send your camper to camp sick. Please do not. We can either try to find you can come to camp late. We can try to find you another week. We can refund you if we need to due to illness, but please, please, please do not send your campers to camp sick. We are asking that you double check your medical and dietary requests about 30 days before your kids come to camp, just to make sure it's all up to date. And just, keep an eye on your camper. Make sure you check their head before you send them to camp to make sure they don't have any lice. We're going to ask that a healthy camp starts at home. So please start checking your campers before they come to camp. When they arrive at camp, we'll take their temperature at check-in, and that's just a precaution for us. And we'll take a quick temperature check. We are going to ask that parents stay in their vehicles during the check-in and check-out process. We will continue to keep as many outside people away from the cabin as much as possible, just to help keep camp healthy. We do daily health screenings in the morning and the evening where we're just checking in with the campers and making sure that everyone's feeling good. And we mark those down on our camper health lists. We do have cleaning crews that come through every day and sanitize high-touch surface areas. We are asking that campers and staff will wash their hands before and after, during restroom breaks and when they eat and before and after activities. But we also know that kids just don't wash their hands that well. So please encourage them to wash their hands when they're at camp. And another reminder is that we do not infirm sick kids. There's something else I would love to touch on in regards to camper health. So while we are going to we're going to ask your campers how they're feeling, I would really love it if you as grown-ups start talking to your camper now about making sure that they're advocating for themselves at camp. So if they're not feeling great or something's off, remind them to tell their counselor. We will get them to the infirmary where they can get checked out. It's important to know that we cannot physically check campers in their bathing suit areas, right? So anywhere that a bathing suit covers. And if we don't see it, like it's on a butt cheek or it's somewhere that a bathing suit covers, it could go unnoticed for the entirety of the camp week. And so please, if your camper is experiencing anything weird that's not normal, encourage them to make sure they speak up for themselves and talk to their counselors, and we can get them to the nurses to get checked out. Also, another thing that I recommend is that when you pick your camper up from camp, is that you also do a health check when they get home. Ask them how they're feeling. Ask them, if they've got any rashes or anything like that, because then you can catch things when they get home. It is very normal, just FYI. It is very, very normal and not uncommon for campers to feel incredibly run down when they leave camp in our home. So you're going to pick your camper up and they are going to be super excited, and they're going to be talking a mile a minute. You're going to get, 10 minutes down 76 and they're going to be asleep. Well, you might need to feed them first, but then they're going to be asleep. And it is very normal for them to be really tired for the next 24, 36, 48 hours. And that's because camp is very energetic. We are moving them from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. And so it's really normal for them to be incredibly tired. We also are a very loud camp. We love to scream here. And so it's also very normal that they might have no voice or a scratchy throat. Our roads are not paved here, and so it's really dusty. And so it's also very possible that they're going to be a bit congested. If that congestion lasts past the 24-hour, 36-hour mark, get them checked out. It's also very possible that they've picked something up at camp, and that's totally normal. So please keep that in mind, that there are some things that we would consider normal when they get home from camp, and then there's some things where please make sure you're getting your kid checked out, just because there's about 400 campers here every week with another 150 staff. And so please make sure we're doing everything we can to help keep them healthy and safe, but we're bringing a lot of people together into one confined space, and so germs are bound to spread. We spend a lot of time outside, but things just happen. And so please make sure you're checking in on your kids when they get home. All right, so we will feed your campers while they're here. We will feed them 3 times a day. So meals are at the following times. We do an 8:15 breakfast, we do a 1:15 lunch, and a 6:15 dinner. Besides cookout meals, which happen based on cabin or day or could just be random, all meals are served in the dining hall, family style. Campers sit with their cabins during meals and their cabin staff. All of our meals include a variety of foods. There's typically a protein, a side, and a vegetable option. If your camper has any dietary restrictions, we can accommodate most to all of them. So please make sure that's in your camper health history. But if you've got specific questions about a camper diet that you're unsure of, please reach out to us. We will help you problem solve that, or we can assure you we can handle it. All right, moving on to our staff. So the majority of our staff that are going to be working with your campers were staff members or were campers here at camp. So they grew up in the program, they were through our leadership program, and now they're here giving back and to give campers the experience that they had. All of our staff go through a federal and state background screening, including the sex offender registry. Our staff go through 40+ hours of training pre-camp. We require them to have a CPR, first aid, and lifeguard certification. We do a lot of stuff on the water here, and so we want to be extra safe. And they also all go through a child abuse awareness and prevention program. We maintain a ratio of 1 staff member to every 5 campers. Cabin life. So again, we talked about the cabins will have 15 to 20 campers. They're assigned by program, grade, and gender. Each cabin has 3 to 4 staff members and then LITs that will also be assigned. All of our cabins have bathrooms and all of them are climate controlled. Cabins have twin size bunk beds. So when you're thinking about what sheets and blankets to bring, twin sized. Campers will move around camp with their cabin throughout the day. There will be one time this summer where we are allowing campers who are above 4th grade to pick their own program, but that will happen on Wednesdays. But they will always be moving around with staff. We never allow campers to walk around camp without supervision. Cabins will come up with a weekly cabin theme and a chant to compete in our Golden Awards and the Spirit Stick. Campers will be responsible for cleaning their cabins every day, so taking care of their own belongings, making their beds, sweeping the cabin, and all those go towards the Golden Awards and the Spirit Stick. Golden Awards are cleanest cabin, So you want to win those. And that we don't allow electronics at camp. Again, we don't have any cell service here or Wi-Fi that campers will have access to. And the biggest part of it also is that we're not responsible if anything is lost, stolen, or broken. So please make those decisions when packing for your camper at camp. This is a very broad overall schedule, but this is kind of what a week looks like, right? So when they check in, they hang out with their cabin. We do a swim assessment for every camper, and that's just because we need to know what their swimming level is. Every camper is required to wear a life jacket in the water at all times. We do not allow campers to swim without life jackets. Then we'll have dinner. We do evening program. And then the days kind of go like this. They get up at around 7:15, 7:30. They go to morning exercises by 7:45. Breakfast is at 8:15. Then we go to morning assembly. Then you've got your first 2 skills of the day. We do lunch. We do rest hour. Your second 2 skills of the day, dinner, evening program, and then lights out. Lights out is around 9 to 10 p.m. depending on the age of the cabin. We also require that campers shower every day. So they'll, at the end of the day after evening program, they'll go back to their cabins. They will shower, get ready for bed, do a little cabin devo, and then go back to, and then they'll go to bed. When we talk about skills, this is the stuff we're talking about. So we've got, these are some examples. We've got swimming, we've got paddle boards, kayaks, canoes. We have a water trampoline, we have a blob, we have what we call bun busting, which is tubing behind a speedboat. We've got arts and crafts. We've got ropes, we've got a climbing wall, vertical playpen, a swing. We do all kinds of land sports, whether that's soccer or volleyball or wiffle ball or gaga ball. We have archery and slingshots, and then we've got hanging in nature. And then we also have other things that our staff come up with that they just want to do with the kids, which is super fun and super cool. All right, now's the time for you to ask me some questions. You can put them in the chat or you can come off mute if you would like. Now's the time. I covered a lot, I understand. Also, if you don't have any questions.
I have a question. I do have a question. So I saw there that so parents don't get to go in and help their kids set up their cabin, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So our staff will help them do that. Our staff are incredible at it. We've been doing this now for, I think this will be our 4th summer doing it this way. And our staff will help them make their bed, will help them get settled. They'll do everything for them.
I have a question. What do they sell at the camp store?
Oh, we sell all kinds of things at the camp store. So we'll have all kinds of snacks ranging from drinks to cookies to chips. But then we also have like little camp knickknacks. We've got sweatshirts, we've got t-shirts, we've got stuffed animals. We've got all kinds of things.
For a new camper, are there like camp songs or something where like that you do on a regular basis that we can talk about now before we're there, so we're not feeling left out that we don't know the lingo?
Yeah, so a lot of that is going to get learned while they're here. And so there are camp songs. So we play them. We play them anytime so like morning assembly, there will be songs. The counselors will help them learn them, but we also put the words on a projection screen so they can read along. So, and they're not going to be the only ones. So lots of people are learning as they come, and our counselors are really great about helping to teach as they go.
So I put a question in chat, but I know we've covered a lot of ground about the snacks that they can buy at the camp store, but just making sure I understood correctly, they can pack nut-free snacks as well to have with
Yeah,
it.
I'm fine as long as they're nut-free snacks. And also keep in mind that they might share them with the entire cabin.
Do they do laundry? Like I'm reading some of the stuff here. If they're there for 1 week, I know it says to bring a laundry bag, but do they do laundry while they're there if they're only there for 1 week?
No, not if they're only there for 1 week. We recommend a laundry bag so that they have somewhere to put their dirty, stinky laundry.
Got it.
You want to ask something?
What's for breakfast?
It depends, but we have had eggs and sausage and biscuits. Sometimes we do chicken biscuits for breakfast. We also always have cereal available and fruit.
Okay.
Is there still a dance on Fridays?
There is still a dance on Fridays.
Okay, fabulous. I went there 30 years ago.
Yes, it's a big dance at the Coliseum.
Oh. So my question would be, when do we get, we're week 1. So
Mhm.
when do we, is there, or has it been sent, because I'm filling in for my daughter right now, like a packing, suggested packing list and or a theme night? Is there any kind of themes or anything? Because we're
Yep.
coming up soon. So I was
Yep.
wondering.
All of that's on our website. You can find the weekly themes on our website, and you can find the packing list is in the family handbook.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
So we have.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there like a menu that we can look at, you know?
I have
what
not
they-
gotten the official
how
menu.
everything-
I've not gotten the official menu from our caterers yet, but once I have it, we can send it out.
Thank you.
I've got a question. I have 2 kids coming for session 7 day camp. Where's the best place to go for information on day campers, drop off, pick up, all of those sorts of things?
Yeah, so that will all get sent out in an email the week before you come. But camper drop off or day camp starts at 9 a.m. And then pickup starts at 4 to 4:30. So drop off is 9 to 9:30, pickup is 4 to 4:30.
And what age, I can't find this anywhere. What ages do they normally start spending the night? 7,
We
6?
start in yeah, it's like 7 years old.
Okay.
For the themes, is there anything that you recommend campers pack, like to celebrate, like if it's Hawaiian, like hula skirts or something of that nature?
Yeah, so you can look at the theme weeks and that'll kind of give you an idea of some things, but some things like just some general things I've recommended. So like solid colored clothing. I feel like they always are dressing in like one solid color. I can't tell you what color that will be, but a solid color. Fun, like if you have a female identifying camper, like fun things to put in their hair, glitter, like face glitter. That's all super popular stuff. We have just also, so everyone knows that's on the call, I have put money aside so that we can buy stuff so that the cabin themes are fun. So we'll buy stuff for your kids too. So it's not just all on the parents to bring that.
I have a question. Are there like themes for the week?
Are there themes for the week?
Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
and those are all online. All of our themes are listed on the website.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
Is there going to be a Trailblazers schedule?
The Trailblazer schedule, yes, but it's the same as it's always been. So the first day they go zip lining. The second day they hike Yona. The third day they go and spend the night in the cave at the Lost Sea. And then the fourth day they go whitewater rafting. And then Friday they spend it at camp.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
We're all in it.
So how do the campers get to their cabins?
So you're gonna get driven there, you're gonna get dropped off in a car, and then from there on out, you're gonna walk with your cabin everywhere you go.
Thank
You're gonna do a lot of walking.
you.
A lot of walking.
I have a question. Where we can find the information about the like a week theme and also their activities during the week? Is there something online or an application?
Can you say that again? I missed the first part of that question.
Where can we find the information about the week activity or week theme or
So we don't have anything that like specifically says what activity they're doing for the week. It changes week to week based on the cabin and camp's needs in our schedule. But those skills that were listed just before, we make sure that campers get to do all of our like high profile activities. So they'll get to swim every day. They'll get to go on a boat every day. They'll get to do, if they're age appropriate, they'll get to do ropes. And then they'll cycle through all of our activities every week.
The life jacket, can we send our own or you guys provide?
No, we will provide all the life jackets. Hey, Riley, you'll find out LIT cabin placements happen when you arrive at camp.
And is there a packing list that is posted somewhere? And
Yep, it's
could
on
you
the,
put it in the chat?
it's on the website, or it's also in the family handbook, which you can also find on the website.
Okay.
Hey, not sure if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, I have one camper that's gonna be LIT, and then I have another camper that's just staying a week. When I come to pick up my camper that's only staying a week, will I have an opportunity to see my camper that's gonna be held over?
Yep, just let us know. We'll make that happen for you.
Thanks.
Going back to day camp, can you
Yeah.
give sort of a summary of what that looks like?
Yep,
for the
it looks
kids?
almost identical to the overnight camp schedule.
Okay.
Except, so they meet all of camp at morning assembly, which is around 9:30. Then they go to their first and second skill. Then they have lunch. They have lunch a little bit earlier. They have lunch at noon instead of 1 o'clock, like overnight camp. And then after they have lunch, they go to the waterfront and use the boats. So between 12 and 2, they're at the waterfront. After the waterfront, they do a snack and another activity, another skill, and then it's 4 o'clock, so they're ready for checkout.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, do you go like do you like do the blimp every single day, and do you do tubing every single day?
Yep, you'll get a chance to do all those things every single day, as long as the weather is holding out.
Okay, thanks.
Jesse, I have another question. I saw something, I'm just getting my companion set up and still trying to get everything uploaded, but on adding money, so we don't send them with cash, right? We just put it through the companion app, and I guess y'all will tell them, I guess I just track their balance through there.
Yes, and we'll let you know if it gets like what we would consider critically low. So if it gets critically low, we'll reach out to you and just let you know that, hey, if you want to add more money, if you don't want to add more money, that's fine.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
What is wake up time?
It depends on the cabin, but it's sometime between 7 a.m. and 7:15 a.m. You have to be down at the waterfront for morning exercises at 7:45.
Okay.
And do they
I
find
have
out their cabins in advance, or do they just find out who they're with? Like if you put in a friend request, do they just find out when they get there?
They just find out when they get there. As long as they were mutually requested, then it should be fine, but you can also reach out to the other. We cannot give you that information, but if you reach out to the friend's family, they can share that information with you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
What if you wake up earlier than the wake up time?
Then you're going to hang out in your bed until it's time for the whole cabin to wake up.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Again, here's the contact information again if you need it. But the presentation is over. You are welcome to leave. But if you have more questions, we'll stay on for a few more minutes to catch you. But again, this will be emailed out to everybody tomorrow.
What happens if you wake up after the wake up time?
You won't wake up after because we're going to wake you up.
Oh, man.